Here we go. Welcome to my recap and reactions for this event. We had it's been so long since we've seen this kind of pay-per-view, and usually it's been like a regular match, and there's so many changes to this company and all the different shows and the new superstars, and I have to say that this was a show full of some things that I didn't really see coming, and I'm going to get into it and talk about it and share. And it almost feels like the draft just was, it wasn't no point in the draft, and you've seen all these superstars make these appearances, and then some things happen, and it's like, what's the point of having these superstars switch shows and get drafted to a different show for like Monday nights and Friday nights, and then just with some of the events that based on a certain event that happened tonight. So it just really confused me. But I'm guessing they're probably trying to do this for Survivor Series to give them some kind of match, some matches to get something going for what's to come up next. But I really overall enjoyed the show, and I'm gonna, just like usual, run through all the matches, and then everybody will be able to see all the matches that took place from tonight's event in the description of this video, so you guys don't have to watch the video in full if you guys have already either if you want to watch it for yourself, or maybe this is not your cup of tea. So it is what it is. Each it whichever your forte is, I'll say. But let's start with the kickoff show. We have the 24/7 championship being defended by R-Truth against Drew Gulak, and just as usual, every time he ends up getting, he either loses this championship, he always ends up finding a way to get it back. So R-Truth ended up retaining his championship against Drew Gulak in the kickoff show. Now, just as always, the kickoff show always usually consists of one match on every time for during these events. So that was basically it. But now we're going to get into the main show where everything went down. And I didn't see this being the first match. Roman Reigns defending his Universal Championship against his cousin, Jey Uso. It's all about family. Family matters when it comes to this match. And of course, Paul Heyman is accompanying him. And no way to get inside the cell. I really haven't even seen him really interfere in matches and stuff like that. And since I think last until back when ECW was still happening and taking place and still airing on the show on Tuesdays. So that was the last time I really remember Paul Heyman getting involved in a match in some way. But I really enjoyed this match. It wasn't just a regular match. It was an I Quit match where the winner is declared based on whoever decides to say I quit. It's been so long since we've seen these type of matches on the shows, so it was pretty cool to see this. And this turned out to be better than what I originally thought it was going to be. And just like I said, it's already the first match of the show. It went really well and got a little bit brutal. But Jey Uso never quit. But he did to lose the match, but he only ended up quitting because Jimmy Uso was out there and got involved to try to interfere and put a stop to the match when Roman Reigns was just destroying Jey Uso and just was going to do whatever it takes to make him say I quit, even if he refused to. And no matter what he did to him, he just didn't give up or anything like that. So Jimmy was the reason why Jey decided to say I quit, to keep him from being getting just even more pain and enduring more pain from the guillotine that he had locked in on Jimmy Uso. So that's how that match went. Basically. I just thought the Fiend would probably just come out at some point and probably try to go after Roman Reigns or maybe something like that. But then again, I almost forgot. He's on the Raw. So that's just something that I would have probably imagined happening before the draft. Prior to the draft, it just happening and just taking place. So now that he's on Raw, he's not going to be able to come after the Universal Championship that I wish he still had. But let's get into the next match. Jeff Hardy versus Elias, a one-on-one match. Elias returning by surprise from last week, not long ago, to interfere and cost Jeff Hardy his championship. Well, the match against I think it was AJ and Sami Zayn. I think it was something like that. But it ended up ending in a DQ because Jeff Hardy did on to what Elias did to him a few days ago, hitting him with the guitar. to the back. But that was it. That was it. But now I have a couple things I want to say about this match against Otis against The Miz, and I'm sure this will be the talk of tonight. I'm curious to what some of you guys that watched this and how you guys feel about this. The Miz has always been a good superstar. He's great on the mic and he's good at competitively in the ring. And now I don't have a problem with this and with him winning the contract. He ended up winning the contract against Otis, the Money in the Bank. Otis was already the rightful owner of the Money in the Bank briefcase with the contract to be able to cash in for a title opportunity at any time, any place that he wanted. But Otis didn't really appear on the show. It's as if they didn't want to put him on the show as much, and he didn't get that much TV time until, you know, when Mandy Rose was still on SmackDown, and now that she got drafted to Monday Night Raw, we didn't really get to see much of Otis. We'll probably see him sometimes in the backstage, and that was it. He didn't really compete in too many matches. It's as if they didn't want him on the TV. So I didn't know at some point, when is he going to cash in? When are the writers going to have him step up to that championship opportunity to try to get involved and maybe tease a cash in? And most of the moments that all the matches that passed, I thought Otis would probably cash in. He never showed, and he never really had an appearance on the shows. So now I think that's probably why they did this. But just brings my question is, what was the point of the draft? When Tucker ended up costing him the match, his best friend, his best buddy, his tag team partner, who is no longer his tag team partner in this case, if you watch the show in the event, but Tucker they're separated on different brands. Tucker is supposed to be on SmackDown, and Otis is on SmackDown, and Tucker is supposed to be on Raw. So it just didn't really make sense. So, and in this case, let's rewind it and back it up to the Money in the Bank event before Otis ended up becoming a surprise winner. And to me, I don't know about anybody else out there, he was a wild card in that match for the Money in the Bank. I think that was one of the funniest, most entertaining Money in the Bank matches that I've seen that they did during this whole outbreak, I'll say. But if they were going to do this, they may as well have had somebody else win that contract. What was all that hype for and having him win the contract just only to take it away from him in this silly manner and just have him just put the contract on the line and just have him take it away against a Raw superstar? So that's what really confused me. It's like, what was the point of having him drafted? So now you have this feud that's going to be coming up for Survivor Series, I'm guessing. That's the only thing I can make it make sense, is that they're going to probably have Otis and Tucker go at it and just butt heads at Survivor Series. And then after that, what is Tucker going to be doing now? What's going to be his next feud? What's his next storyline? What's going to be the story for his next move? Is his next move or going on and competing in matches? Is he going to get a title opportunity? Is he going to start competing for the Intercontinental Championship, the United States Championship, I should say, since he's on Raw? What's going to be his plan? What's going to be their plan for him going forward after this feud dies down between Otis and Tucker? Because that's going to be gone right after Survivor Series ends, which I'm sure that match is going to be brewing against them. So it just didn't really make sense. But if anything, I just hope that they have Miz cash in the contract, which we know he will do. But maybe, hopefully, they don't have him lose when he cashes in, because that's the only thing that we have to worry about. Even though he cashes in, he might end up losing. So we don't know what's going to happen. It's pretty interesting. I think this was one of the most shocking events from tonight by far, in my opinion. So I just thought I'd share. But let's get on to the next match. The SmackDown Women's Championship match between Bayley and Sasha. And as everybody out there probably knew, it's Sasha's turn to shine. She never held the SmackDown Women's Championship, and now she finally does. This was a really great match too. And it almost seemed like Bayley was going to win again, with just trying to put her down for good. But just as usual, it's always during the best friend feud that the person that gets backstab always ends up finding a way to win. And I'm just happy that she got this championship. And I already called this events ago, saying they were gonna just be at each other. They're gonna eventually end up facing off against each other for this championship anyway. So I already saw Sasha Banks winning this SmackDown championship, the SmackDown Women's Championship, and being able to become I forgot what kind of type of champion that is called. I almost forgot the word. But I'm really happy with these results. So I'm curious to see who's going to step up to her and challenge her next on the SmackDown roster. The United States Championship, this was just an impromptu match. I didn't even see this being on the card. This wasn't even on the match card. United States Championship being defended from the Hurt Business. The Hurt Business's own Bobby Lashley against one of the members of Retribution, SlapJack. So he just got beat. He got the beat down. He just didn't really have much of a chance against Bobby Lashley. So that's all I got to say about that match. But I think they're going to still be going at it come tomorrow night. And it's going to probably lead up into some kind of huge tag team match. And maybe they're going to probably have Retribution eventually getting a dub over the Hurt Business. So we'll have to see what happens with that. But the last match, the main event, Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton. I thought Drew McIntyre was going to win. But they wouldn't do Randy Orton dirty like that and just have him win. So lose several matches. Almost got to say win as if he won. But he did tonight. He ended up winning the WWE Championship. He's the new WWE Championship champion. Well deserved. And I'm curious to see what happens tomorrow night and what's going to lead up to it. Drew McIntyre is injured, and I don't think he'll be back anytime soon. I'll be very surprised if he wants to end up having another match. I think someone else is going to probably end up stepping up to challenge him. Maybe Keith Lee, if he's not being feuded still against Braun Strowman. Because he didn't have a match. He didn't appear tonight or anything like that. Several superstars didn't have a match. Seth Rollins, also some other superstars. But I see Keith Lee probably just wanting that WWE Championship now. He's already beaten Randy Orton. But I highly doubt they'll probably give him, Randy Orton, a 14-time champion now, as of tonight, a short title reign. So he's probably going to hold this title for quite some time. If The Miz doesn't cash in, I think that's the only exception of him probably losing and dropping his title. So we'll probably end up seeing what happens tomorrow night. But this was a really good match. I thought they were going to probably just end up falling through the top of the cell. They ended up climbing the top of the cell. Outside of all the cell matches that took place tonight, they didn't really fight up there, really. They just ended up fighting on the sides of the cell, on the right side. It almost gave me that flashback with Seth Rollins battling Dean Ambrose for the championship match, and how they both end up collapsing through the table at the same time. I thought that was going to happen, but that happened to Drew McIntyre, which led up to his defeat in the match. So no cash-ins tonight, even though Miz is the new contract holder, Money in the Bank winner of the contract. And some other things I just want to say is that I'm just glad that they just didn't keep it predictable, and it was some surprise wins and all that good stuff. But I'm just still so confused about Tucker just betraying Otis. I'm just like, they had that happen. I just feel bad for him, but I would have loved to see him hold that championship. As silly as Otis is, he's a silly character in his gimmick and just his personality and stuff like that. He's goofy, but I guess we won't be getting that anytime soon. So I'm sure they're gonna just have him face Tucker, and then that's just my big question. What are they gonna do with Tucker now? If he does beat him, whether or not he wins or loses, what is he going to do? Is he going to be a singles competitor now? I don't know what Tucker's future will hold after this. And then it's not going to last that long, because they're not going to keep on fighting each other from brand to brand to brand. Survivor Series is the brand showdown, Raw versus SmackDown. And then I think NXT is going to possibly be involved if they decide to include it this year. But I really enjoyed it. But I just hope, if anything, Miz cashes in successfully, and then they don't just have the contract regardless of who he chooses to cash in on, and just have him lose. That would really suck. And I just have to bring up someone, Damian Sandow. Anyone remember him? Because when he had the contract, he ended up cashing it in on John Cena, but he didn't cash it in like being sneakily. He used the contract, his Money in the Bank contract opportunity, to get a WWE Championship match the same night on Monday Night Raw, and lost. So I just hope they don't have Miz do it that way and then end up losing against Randy Orton or Roman Reigns, whoever he picks, regardless of who has the championship or who he picks to target. I just hope they don't have him lose and it'll just be a waste. You write that all up in the script, have him cash in, have him win the match, get the contract, and then cash it in, and then lose.